Prospect League players are returning to their teams today after last night's All-Star game. While players fulfilled preseason expectations by playing in the game, a former local star didn't know if he'd even have a team at this point. ABC News Channel 15's David A. joins us live in the studio with more. David.
Well, the Prospect League brings in temporary players at the beginning of the season. Their role is to stick around just long enough to fill out the roster until players from the big-name schools arrive on the team. Oakwood's Casey Fletcher, though, didn't get that memo.
You know, you always got to believe in yourself. You got to believe in your abilities, because if you don't believe in your abilities, then, it's not really going to take you anywhere.
Casey Fletcher grew up with a bat in his hands and a belief he could put that bat on a pitched ball.
I've had my dad in my ear since I was about 5 years old, so, I kind of know the in and outs of a swing.
With a family like Casey's, it would be easy for him to live in the shadows of their accomplishments.
My dad decided to get a portrait of him, his dad, and his grandfather up here.
All professional baseball players. Instead of feeling a world of pressure, Casey has a calm approach to the game.
I've been given something, and I need to do something with it.
This is where he played his high school baseball, earning all-county, conference, and area honors his senior year. From there, he was a third-team National Junior College All-American this past season at Kankakee Community College. Still, just enough to earn him a replacement player spot on this year's Dan's roster. But that's all he needed, because he believed in his ability to hit.
Certainly, he has a wonderful mindset at the plate, and he's a wonderful young man to be around.
The dark horse. I told you.
Given just 14 days as a Dan, Casey turned that into a permanent starting spot on the roster and swung his way to the All-Star game.
I just kept going at it every day, like, there was no tomorrow, and nothing's handed to you in life. People are, they're not going to give you things, so I might as well, I got to keep pushing, just got to keep, doing what I've been doing.
Moving over to some local softball and baseball. Sign up for baseball and softball at Urbana Middle School is underway. This will be the second year for the baseball team at the school and the first year for softball. School officials say the baseball season was a big success in terms of getting the program started and giving students a head start on organized district sports. Sign up for softball is open until next Wednesday and a week later for baseball. Then tryouts will start on July 23rd for softball and July 30th for baseball. Heading over to PGA, first round of the John Deere Classic. Former Illini Steve Stricker, the three-time defending champion at the TPC Deere Run. Here's another Illini, Luke Guthrie, in just his second PGA event, hits the 37-footer. Birdie finishes the round at 6 under. On 14, Steve Stricker, 2 under. And on the par 4, 80 yards out, Stricker's going to drop this one in for the eagle. He couldn't even see the hole, but hey, when you've won 3 straight times, I guess you kind of have a bit of a feel for the course. He finishes the day tied for 3rd, and here's how the rest of the leaderboard looks heading into round 2. 3-time champion Steve Stricker tied for 3rd, and here's what he had to say.
Yeah, you know what? I feel fairly relaxed. I didn't feel comfortable at the start of the round today. Hit the ball great on the range during my warm-up session. It was good to get a good back 9 in.
And that's going to do it for sports. Elitsa, back to you.
Last year, the Big Ten Conference agreed to team up with the Pac-12 Conference on a deal to play more games against each other. But the future for that deal doesn't look good. ABC News Channel 15's David A. joins us live in the studio with more. David.
The scheduling agreement between the Big Ten and Pac-12 conferences has fallen apart. Back in December of last year, the two conferences announced they would schedule 12 football games every year, with a Big Ten school matching up with a Pac-12 school starting in 2017. That was the highlight of the deal, but also other sports were included. In a statement released by Big Ten Commissioner Jim Delaney, he said the deal will make scheduling too complicated for the Pac-12. This deal falling apart, though, will have no effect on the Rose Bowl. A day after the Free Report revealed the major cover-up of sexual abuse at Penn State, former Illini football coach Ron Zook is saying it's hard for him to imagine the Joe Paterno he knew was covering up the years of child molestation by former Penn State assistant coach Jerry Sandusky, but added it's obvious Paterno did. Joe Paterno's son, Jay Paterno, says there isn't obvious evidence his father covered up repeated child molestation in Penn State football facilities and says the 1998 incident proves that.
Joe Paterno Mike McQuarrie came to Joe Paterno. He turned it over to his superiors, as he's required to do by the Clery Act. So I think, the idea that there was some big concealment, I think is an unfair characterization.
The independent investigation into the case by former FBI head Louis Freeh says Paterno, along with the university's president, vice president, and athletic director, covered up abuse by Sandusky in order to save Penn State from bad publicity while showing a disregard for the safety and welfare of the victims. Let's go ahead and shift gears now and take you over to some golf. Round 2 of the TPC John Deere Classic. We pick it up with Steve Stricker on the back 9, and he's going to sink this putt to go 8 under. Then on 7, this is off the tee, and look at how close this one's going to come to a hole-in-one. It's going to miss by that much. He's going to pick up the birdie, and right now he is just 3 strokes off the lead after round 2. Here's Ricky Barnes on the par 5. He's going for eagle, and this ball is going to run out of gas. Picks up the birdie, though. He finishes the round 11 under, 2 off the lead behind Troy Madison, who still holds the lead at 13 under. And next week is the last round of softball camps out at Danville Area Community College. The camps are open to grades kindergarten through 12th grade and will be held next Monday and Tuesday. Pitching camp starts at 9 and a fundamentals camp starts at 10:30. Registration is open and will begin 30 minutes before each of those camps. New DAC softball coach Randy Skaggs is running the camps held out at Danville's Winter Park. That's going to do it for sports. Salitza, back to you.
Illini basketball team is in the middle of an era change. The first step is to fill out the coaching staff, and this week that finally happened. ABC News Channel 15's David A. joins us live in the studio with more. David.
Well, Isaac Chu left the Illini coaching staff for Marquette back in May. That happened less than 2 months after the new coach was brought aboard. But now another new coach is ready to round out Gross's bench.
By the grace of God, I can say, someone moved out, and I had an opportunity to move back in.
For a kid growing up on Chicago's South Side, Paris Parham saw the University of Illinois as the big time.
I would probably crawl from Chicago backwards to play at the University of Illinois.
But some of Chicago's elite talent have looked right past Illinois in the recent years. Parham hopes to change that.
With me here, I think it's going to add some help only because of my relationships with a lot of the coaches.
Parham knows the Chicago Public League well, as both a player and a coach. He says the relationships he's built will give the Illini an advantage on the recruiting trail.
They know who I am. They know how I feel about the kids. I know the things they'll do and they won't do with their kids.
Parham says the challenge now isn't making the contacts. It's going to come down to convincing the next big name that U of I will lead them to their NBA dreams.
There's been a number of NBA guys that came from Chicago or the state of Illinois that came to this university and this institution and was drafted, picked up in free agency or whatever, and had a lot of success.
Parham spent the last 5 years as an assistant under Tim Jankovich at Illinois State University. Before that, he was a high school head coach in the Chicago Public League for 3 years. In 2005, he won the league's Red Central Coach of the Year. The opening ceremonies of the 2012 Olympic Summer Games are 20 days and 16 hours away. A local athlete will be among the group of Americans making the trip to London to chase their gold medal dreams. Champaign Central graduate Tyler McGill qualified for the U.S. Olympic team last Sunday. He's joining a strong U.S. team led by Olympic legend Michael Phelps, who McGill says makes everybody around him better. But he also says there's a lot of people right here in Champaign that he'll be thinking about as he walks across the international stage.
To know that I'm there, not only representing myself and my country, but all the people that have helped me get to that point. And it'll probably be an emotional thing, but it'll also be a very joyous and prideful thing to be a part of.
McGill will swim the 100-meter butterfly event, and if you're wondering where the Olympic torch relay is, tonight the flame is in Chelmsford, United Kingdom, and tomorrow it'll head over to Cambridge. And Lisa, next to my bed, I've replaced that alarm clock with an Olympic countdown clock. Yeah, I'm definitely excited for that. That'll do it for sports. Back to you.